Alright, so I wanted a little video to show the end of 14 and 15 that we were supposed to get to in class yesterday. We're going to finish up today and get you pointed in the right direction for today's lesson. So in our notebook, if you didn't get your traffic rules table set up like this, take a minute and do that. The first four are all the connections that you're allowed to make to remote computers. Like these two are for Linux machines, these two are for Windows machines. And then the other three things are the three moves from our baseline. We browse to Web01, we send a file to Web01, and we got a file from PLC pump. Anyway, then we get to 14. 14 is about the packets and from our baseline traffic. Remember, like our first move was to send FTP traffic from, or to get an FTP file from pump PLC to pump monitor. So we want to see what that looks like on Wireshark, because this is what you're getting used to. So always at the beginning of these problems, you have to grab the file and drag it to this desktop. Now you guys have to do it from that blue file folder on your what's it called? Chromebook, and it's the same as before. I transferred it. It's now on my computer. Well, in a second you can see it's still going up. So you have to do this every time you get in here. You bring the file folder in, and I'm going to pause it while it uploads here. Okay, so that took a while. It looks like my internet here at home is a little slower because we have a bunch of people online right now. But whenever you get that on, you need to extract the file just like we did in class. I had to refresh this thing real quick because it zoned out on me. Alright, so yeah, just go through the same process we did in class. It should become kind of second nature. Geez, I'm going to pause this. My computer's being super slow. Okay, so recap on that. You go to Guacamole, you right click on here, you hit extract all. And I like to put it on my desktop, so I click over here in desktop, select the folder, extract. And on my desktop will pop up two of these things once they're, geez, oh Pete's, once they're done popping up there. This was like instant in class. Alright. Okay, there they are. So right now I want to look at the three things that happened in our baseline and find them on Wireshark. Okay, so here they are. Ignore the red one. But baseline 1, I want to see this move. We did it in class. We did it in the virtual machine. I want to see it on Wireshark now because it supposedly was captured. So to do that, make sure you open the full baseline one. Don't open the unknown or you won't see it. And we're basically going to slap a lot of filters on this thing. Okay, so if I look at this, I have this computer IP address, I have this computer IP address, and I have the type of data, which is FTP. If I put those three filters on, I should be able to see the move we did to sign in and get that log file from them. Okay, so let's check it out. So I'm going to go up here to the filters. I'm going to say FTP and IP.address, boom, equals 10.2.0.5, that's pump PLC, and IP.address equals 10.2.0.6. So this should be pump monitor speaking to pump PLC and doing that FTP. Remember, you got the vagrant, and then they type in wrong password, and then if you look at it, where's that? Here it is, password required. Looks like they logged in a second time. Command successful, transfer complete. So they got the log file. Okay. I bet if you look in these, you can actually see, the file transfer and what the file is called. But we found it, and just to show you, it really is just that one. If I change this to target windows, you see nothing. You know why? Because target windows in PLC didn't transfer FTP. So we saw this first move. Okay, and you're going to update that in here. Write what filter what you were able to see that on. And then, so that's the first, it says identify the first and last packets of each task. So if I looked at that, the first packet, let me change that back to a 6. Boom. The first packet was 495. The last packet was 897 to finish their thing going on. There's the pump log file. Anyway, so that was their whole interaction, was that many packets. Okay, and then we're going to look at some of the other ones. So let's see. Record. So I want to do each task. It's not super clear that in here. So I want to put the FTP and 10.2 IP.address equals 10.2.0.5 and IP.address equals 10.2.0.6. So that was the baseline one. Okay. And then you're going to do that again for the other two baselines. Okay, just look at them. Right? What are my other baselines? Oh, here's FTP from this guy to this guy. So that's a really easy fix. You just go up here and slap this on it. Boom. And I should see that pump log file going from, oh crap, it has to be 6 to 7. Okay, it starts at 1383. It ends at 1620. It sends the file, and you can look at it. Here's the pump log text file. It's sent over there. So kind of the same deal. You can probably copy paste this for baseline 2. And then baseline 3 is a little different because if you look at the picture, that was target windows to web01. So I have two new IP addresses, but I also have a different type of data. I have HTTP. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to change this to HTTP, and I want it to be between target windows 08 and IP address 07, web 01. And you can see this is a really quick one, right? Just connects to the web page. Okay, so that was A, and then you'll see you should write each one of those in here. You'll have one for baseline 2 and one for baseline 3. And then can you confirm that Pump Monitor did not exchange HTTP data with anybody? Okay, well, all you got to do is take off this extra one here and check if HTTP went on with 06. Hey, Pump Monitor did. That's great. Okay, and you can go through the other questions like that. Okay, so right, so something like that. And then confirm that they didn't use FTP with web01 PLC. Just change those up. And you get used to that. And then you're going to do a similar thing for number 15, but now you're trying to track down all the suspicious stuff. Okay, we did 3 suspicious tasks. And you want to look at your diagram for that. Your diagram, we have these 3 illegal moves. There's a scan from this guy to this guy. There was HTTP from this guy to this guy, and there was FTP from these two. So if you look at the questions on 15, let's look in our notebook. It says recall the 3 suspicious tasks, refer to your network, find the packets that represent unexpected or suspicious traffic, record the filters you used, and compare them to the baseline. Describe the suspicious behavior. So if I look at this, I'm going to close this down because we already searched there. You open up your unknown, and now it's like, oh my gosh, it's overwhelming, it's huge. Just do one of these at a time. Right now, I'm like here, I know this is HTTP, so that'll be easy. We've done that before. I know this is FTP. On this one is the weirdest one because it doesn't say what type of data. So all I'd recommend is use that IP address and that IP address and see what shakes out, right? IP.address equals 10.2.0.8. That's target Windows. An IP address equals 10.2.0.7. That's Web01. And look at what happens here. Now, SYN-ACK, we kind of recognize that. That should be the handshake where they meet each other. But if you look at this, look at how crazy big this file is. And if you look at what's going on, it's basically trying to access port after port after port after port after port. You can see 08 sending something here, and each one of these is a little request for a different port. And look at how many files there are. This is why this file is huge, because you have hundreds of packets between the two. Okay, so basically it is a crazy amount of packets between the two, and it's every time going through and trying to make a connection. That's why you see this SYN-ACK, because every time you see this SYN-ACK, it's trying to start a handshake with a new port. Okay, so that's crazy stuff. So that is suspicious. When you see that much traffic between the two and that many SYN-ACKs, you know something sus is going on, because they shouldn't be just randomly attacking each one. And then I'm sure at this point, after doing the previous one, you know what filter to put on to check for HTTP traffic between these two. And you know what filter to check for FTP traffic between these two. Okay, so try those out. Hopefully that makes sense for you. And then looking ahead, watch this video, because it goes into what firewalls do and what they look like on a network, because all we did in the past was set up firewalls for our home computer, which is cool. It's very similar, but you're going to use this new IP tables in Linux, and you're gonna basically set up the firewalls for your computers. And make sure you watch on here whether you're setting it up for the whole network or just each computer. One thing I would warn you on, make sure you know which computer you're supposed to be logged into. Okay, because when you look at this first one, you're going to pump PLC. Well, pump PLC should only have SSH coming in and FTP coming in. So you don't need to do all these things for pump PLC. So make sure you're watching which destination one you're using on these problems. It walks you through it, so it's pretty cookie cutter. But just follow the directions. You have to type things in exactly. Start to get used to what -A means and what -L means, and you'll start to see there's SSH, there's accept, you're accepting SSH traffic, and since you're logged into the PLC, you don't have to tell it what port. You're saying, okay, I'm logged into PLC, I'm accepting SSH traffic. Okay, and then here you're accepting FTP, but you're not accepting it just from anyone. You're accepting it from Pump Monitor. Just take your time, do them. It's pretty cool. Don't forget at the very end, there's 2 moves you have to do, and that's this one. That's to deny everything else. That's like this move here. And then your very last move, you have to do a save. Otherwise it doesn't do it. And then take a screenshot of your new inbound rules. It talks about how to show what rules you have at any time. Okay, so try that out. You should be pretty successful, and I think it's kind of nice being able to see the bad stuff on Wireshark. All right, talk to you later, people.